Right. And what sort of turned you onto allegory as a topic?
I was kind of I think beginning to as you're asking about what about my BA and whether I'd done like similar things in terms of uh, like like abjection and formlessness and these kind of
Right.
Freudian concepts,
Yes.
and then looking at
Formlessness. Where do you get? You know where that comes from? Obviously, you do. I'm sure you do.
well, I was I was
Bataille,
gonna,
isn't it?
I was gonna yeah. I was, but also isn't Urizen and isn't in Blake, isn't that kind of formlessness as well?
Well, it might be an application, but
Yeah.
but I simply meant the term.
Yeah,
He took Bataille talks about the form, the form, and the what lacks form.
yeah,
Do you know it?
yeah. I mean, it was sort of I sort of had been reading around that,
Yes.
and I think it was seeing sort of things about the breakdown in kind of like order and things like that. That I began to notice in looking at looking at things in terms of religious art and
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
That sort of dual nature of and I'm interested in the way it's sort of a discourse that seems to like re-emerge, and that's that kind of Freudian thing of the return of the repressed
Yes,
as well.
yes,
I just found so much in what I had been looking at around as well, the Mike Kelly stuff about the idea that he'd used like American folk ritual and decontextualize it and use it to create other narratives.
Yes. Yes.
And there was something in that, in like that kind of anti-aesthetic, or that kind of having a different kind of criteria or set of parameters for making, or that was I just saw a lot of similar territory, and it was a little time before that I'd been looking into it and looking at iconoclasm and things like that, and before I sort of read Benjamin and Charles.
I see. Right.
So-
Right. So your route was from sort of decontextualization of art objects.
Yeah.
And narratives.
Yeah, and
And then into Benjamin.
the idea of the idea of because I'd been sort of because my process would be that I'd sort of have something in the back of my head, or like that kind of space when you're just going to sleep, and then I try and pull it out and make it, and then sort of looking at Blake and his prints and how much everything is embodied and things like that, and a discourse around embodiment, and then how it's sort of I think a lot of it was realizing that how much of your thinking is kind of in religious thinking as well, like that you started to think about that as well, as the piece of art as being having not like a liminal thing, but like two very distinct separate identities. So it was what's funny is it's not funny, but I'd sort of in Royal College I'd sort of started. I made a series of seraphim sculptures, which I just like. I was looking at the idea of. I think this is before I was looking at Benjamin as well, and the idea of seraphims as like something that's completely compiled of wing, and that is an idea in the hierarchy of angels and religion, and then that is a kind of like a physical reality. So I ended up making these tarred and feathered kind of formless seraphim sculptures.
I see.
And it's kind of that idea of dragging something from like a divine world, or whatever that world is into a kind of tangible reality. So
Mm.
that was my thinking in when I was, that was sort of what the kind of thing I was doing, beginning to look at Benjamin.
Yes.
And then I think I mean I sort of, leaving London, I kind of had a kind of breakdown with obsessive compulsive disorder, and it was funny reading the conclusion to your book, because it's sort of why I've maintained an interest in the subject, is, you know, it's sort of the idea that there's a dangerous core to this, that there's something, you know, that there's something like a tragic, a revelatory thing at the end of it, you know, and that's kind of the concept I'm kind of working with for my own
Right.
output now. So